Inner awakening. Stunning health recoveries. 100% cure for depression, insomnia, asthma, fatigue, chronic pain, insecurity, panic attacks, and other major disorders. Awaken the Kundalini Shakti, the dormant energy within. What would you do if you had 1300% more energy? Disease-free mind and body is your first wealth. Claim it at Inner Awakening. Inner Awakening, a 21-day meditation retreat with rare living incarnation. Paramahamsa Nityananda, Nityananda Dhyanapita, Nityananda Nagar, Bidadi, Bengaluru, Karnataka. Contact
0802 727 9999.
Email ia@nityananda.org.
नित्यानन्देश्वर समारम्भां नित्यानन्देश्वरि मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome you all with my love and respects. Today's Leela is Malayadvajanai Araitha Badalam. Means the story of Sundareshwara goes, the Shiva Mahadeva goes. Sundareshwara brought all the oceans, 7 ocean waters to Madurai for Meenakshi's mother to take bath, take a holy dip. But the rishis have said Kanchanamala has incompletions with her husband who passed away. Without completing the incompletions with the husband, you can't take a dip, and that is not going to help you in a big way. Then Kanchanamala requests Sundareshwara. Sundareshwara scans in the cosmic archives. Where is the Kanchanamala's husband is? Malayadvaja, and calls him. Calls the Malayadvaja Vandiya, and he comes down. Kanchanamala completes with him, and both of them take dip in that 7 ocean, and they achieve liberation and enlightenment. Today you are seeing that scene, Meenakshi and Sundareshwara with Kanchanamala and Malayadvaja. Mahadeva is gracing us. And then Ganesha Brahmotsava, the 10-day Vinayak Chaturthi, Ganesh Chaturthi, Ganesha festival is happening. So Ganesha is gracing us today, 4th day, on the Hamsa Vahana, the Vahana of the enlightened beings. All enlightened beings are called Hamsa. So he is gracing us on the Hamsa Vahana. With this, I'll move to the Nitya Satsang. Today I'll expand on some of the great why. Big whys and great whys are two different. Please understand. The big whys are like why we wear what we wear, why we eat what we eat, why we live the way we live. This I classify as big whys. And the great whys are how the cosmos is functioning and why we should do spiritual practices, why we should be aligned to the cosmos. Please understand. I am separating these two, big whys, great whys. Indic knowledge has so much to offer to the world about cosmology. Please understand. I am not talking just about astrology. Or astronomy. I am saying knowledge about cosmology and the way to harness the powers. Please understand. In any field, when you have knowledge about the laws governing that field, you have power over the many of the gray area. Why do you think people are so crazy about becoming politicians? Because then you will get the power of handling the gray area. This power of handling the gray area. With any knowledge about any existence, if you have knowledge about the laws of the physics, you will have power over the gray area, where your will can play a big role. If you have knowledge about the chemistry, you will have power over many of the gray area, with which you can play many things better than others. In any field, knowledge gives you the power to manipulate the gray area. Understand? Very important thing you need to know. In the spiritual field, there is no gray area. The moment you know the law, you have the whole power. Please understand. I will give you an example. If you know a law of the country, if you know the whole, how it is created, why it is created, what is it, the whole thing, then you can very easily manipulate. Because for any crime, they say minimum 3 months and maximum can go up to 5 years imprisonment. And an evidence should have all these qualifications. The qualifications are so grey, you can have anything as evidence and anything as non-evidence. I have seen in India in some cases, an ordinary hand key becomes evidence and many video, audio, recordings, circumstantial evidences, everything is thrown out as not reliable. So each area, in each field, there is a vast gray area. When you master knowledge in that field, that gray area becomes your power zone. Same way, administering the country, for example, building bridges or dams or schools, colleges. I think a few days before I told a story. One politician goes from India to Washington DC, stays in a house of a senator, and senator has a huge bungalow, and he just takes care of this MP from India. Floored by the hospitality of the senator, MP asks, how did you manage this huge house and so much wealth? The senator takes the MP and shows, do you see a river through the window? MP says, yes, I can see. Do you see a bridge over it? The MP says, yes, I can see. The senator says 10% smugly. And MP also understands, they smile at each other, they just leave it at that. Then the senator, after some time, senator comes to India. Minister takes care, the MP takes care of him. The MP lavished all hospitality on him. When they came to his house, senator saw the MP has a huge palatial building. And senator asked, how can you possibly afford this with your salary? The MP says, MP takes the senator to the window and asks, do you see a river? Senator says, yes. Can you see a bridge over it? Senator looks a little confused, peered closely and said, no, I don't see any bridge. MP says, 100%. See, in the administration, you have a lot of gray area. In every field, gray area gives the power. That is why people go crazy for those, becoming those power centers. But I tell you, very important truth. No other area gives you so much of power. No other field has so much of gray area like spiritual field, I tell you. Once you master the law of the cosmos, once you know how to exert power over you, I tell you, the whole cosmos is in your feet. And fortunately, one more thing. Whenever people become powerful, they become dangerous to others. In spirituality, whenever you become powerful, you become a blessing to others. Understand, just only one law, if you can take it up, the cosmic law, integrity, and plug all the holes in your life related to integrity. That's it. That one law, the power it can bring inside you, the amount of empowerment will happen in you. You will realize the whole zone related to integrity is completely owned by you. It is not that only one small part. In India, you don't need to have just 10%. I tell you, even the story I said, 100%, is not a common story in India. In India, there is one step further. One minister makes the account, he built the bridge and takes the money. And the next guy comes and writes the account, the bridge was built in a wrong place, and he demolishes the bridge and takes the money. So understand, in India it is 200%, not even 100%. Please listen. The spiritual field I think you need to come to the space of listening and understand every statement I make. Only then you will be able to grasp the whole thing. In every field, knowledge is power, because you get to handle the gray area when you have handle over the knowledge of that field. In the spiritual field, there is no gray area. Whole thing is in your hand. If you know how the Saturn functions, please listen. If you know how the Saturn energy functions, it is not that you will have power over only the gray area. You will have power over the whole Saturn. You can dictate terms to Saturn. Understand? When I utter some words, I am responsible about it. If you master the one principle, integrity, just one principle, pluck all the holes of lack of integrity in you, you will understand what I am saying. Please understand. If you bring integrity into you, it is not that only one of your word will become reality. Another one word may not become reality. No. Whether you want the lorry which is coming straight in front of you to disappear, or the meteor which is straight coming in front of the planet Earth to disappear, both are in your space, because there is no gray area in cosmology. There is no gray area in the cosmic energy. Please listen. In every field, you will have only percentage of gray area. In the law, it may be few percent. In the administration, it may be few percent. In the infrastructure creation, it may be few percent. But in the spirituality, when you master certain knowledge, you have the whole power in your hand. And please understand, if you are not able to move the sun or the moon as you want, you don't have a complete knowledge. So work in the line of Sankhya, knowledge. Work in the line of understanding. I tell you, Sankhya is tapas. Knowledge is tapas. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is everything. So when you spread the great why, answer to the great whys, you are empowering people. Please listen. In Hinduism, when you give the answers to the great whys of the people, you are empowering people. You are not programming them, finally, ultimately, end of the day, to manipulate them. It is not possible. Please listen. In some religions, the answer for the great questions like how the world came into existence, how it functions, what is going to happen, why we should do right, why we should not do wrong, answers for this question becomes such a manipulative, the possibility to be manipulated in you. Once you start believing those answers, you can be easily manipulated by an individual or an organization. How many of you cognize what I am saying? But in Hinduism, in the Indic knowledge, if you receive answer for this great voice, neither a person nor an organization can exploit you. Forget about that. Even you can't exploit you. Even you can't exploit you. That is why I am saying, when you answer this great voice as per the Indic tradition, you empower people. I tell you, enriching people with Hindu tradition is empowering people with power. Sometimes if you empower people with certain ideologies, certain books, certain literatures, they become vulnerable, prepared, brainwashed, ready to become terrorists. They are ready to kill all the people other than their ideas or faith. Sometime when you answer these great voice based on some books, they start feeling egoistic of saved sinner. I tell you, empower people with Indic knowledge. For all their questions, the great voice, you empower them to become powerful. You empower them to become powerful. When you give an integrity lesson to somebody, when you give a lesson of authenticity to somebody, he is liberated. No organization, no individual can exploit that person. Forget about me. Neither I can exploit, nor my Sangha can exploit. Even he himself can't exploit himself. Because the power of integrity, authenticity, responsibility is such, it leads to deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper understandings. As no gray area. It empowers you. Please listen. If I was successful in creating that space without taking the responsibility, that would have been a biggest disaster to Hinduism. Because then I will not know the science, I will not create multiple number of people to be responsible and hold that space. Or, if I just hold that space and it breaks and fails, without me having this understanding, that would have been again one more disaster. Me losing trust or faith over this principle or this concept of four Tattwas and the space. Neither this has happened nor that has happened. Clear understanding has landed. I tell you, that is why I am telling. These four Tattwas are so powerful. Integrity, authenticity, responsibility and enriching. Neither I can exploit you, nor my Sangha can exploit you. Even you cannot exploit you. For example, listen. Let us take this situation where I created the space that he should be protected. If he has been protected without me being told that I have not become responsible for the space I am creating, then I would have never looked into the real science of this whole space. I would have thought, great, miracle has happened. Come on, let me do the same everywhere. Which is going to be like carrying the torch without battery to enter into the dark forest. Thinking that, no, it worked 3 days before. 3 days before there was a battery in the torch. Now there is no battery. Because you don't know the science, you think that the torch is enough. Torch is the space, battery is the responsibility. And if it would have happened without me taking the responsibility, then I would have started exploiting myself. Please understand, when you don't know and something happens in your life, even if you call that as a miracle or accident, you are only exploiting you. Anything you term in your life as miracle or accident, you are only exploiting you, because you do not know how to repeat it, replicate it, and you will be continuously going in that courage and confidence without knowing how to replicate, repeat it in a foolproof way. If I know how the torch works and see the torch working and then carrying it to the forest, it will be helpful. But I think it works and I do not know how it works, and I carry the same torch to the forest. Will it be safe? It may sometime work, it may not. I tell you, you entering into life or some venture without knowing clearly to create and maintain the right space is exploiting yourself. I am opening a whole new chapter of learning to all of you. Come to the space of listening and listen. I am telling you about the learnings I received. Finally, I saw but one thing, I was very sincere in creating that space, not for any name and fame, not for later on when he comes out and comes clean, he should praise me. Oh, you stood by me at the times of very difficult times. Not for any of those reasons. I neither wanted any return, favor, support, help, nor interested in any name and fame. I was very sincere. When I was very sincere, clearly Kala guides you not to exploit yourself. Any misunderstanding you carry with which you continue to function is exploiting yourself. Please understand, when you empower somebody with the knowledge of Hindu tradition, the Indic tradition, these great truths, integrity, authenticity, responsibility, and enriching, no one can exploit that person. He becomes inexploitable. See, if that person is given the answers, like you are a sinner, you need to be guilty, you have to repent, you have to confess and all that, he can be exploited. There is a possibility. I am not saying everyone is exploited, but I am saying the possibility for getting exploited is left open. With Indic knowledge, if you empower somebody with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, not only you can't be exploited by even your guru or any other guru, any other spiritual leader, you can't be exploited by any organization, you can't even be exploited by yourself, your own dark part of you, your own ignorance. You will only be given more and more intelligence and clarity. With authenticity, sincerity, if you handle the torch, you know what all is required. So you will never be able to exploit even you. Handling a torch without knowing batteries are required, and going into the forest and finally finding in the dark forest that torch is not working because there is no battery, is what you exploiting you. Your foolishness exploiting you. I tell you, when you empower somebody with answers from the Indic tradition about the big voice and great voice, you empower the person, he becomes inexploitable. Neither he can be exploited by a religious leader or a spiritual leader or a guru, nor any organization can exploit him, or he can't even exploit by his own ignorance. He can't even be exploited by his own ignorance. He can't even exploit himself. Knowledge becomes so powerful. Even your darkness cannot exploit you. I tell you, living in the space even you cannot exploit you is living enlightenment. Living in the space even you cannot exploit you is living enlightenment. You should know the next thing happened. I committed to Kalabhairava. Now I take the responsibility to protect all the Hindu religious spiritual leaders. Then Kalabhairava said, now start creating the space. From now, whenever you create a space, it will be honored. I said, all right. I think this is one of the important lessons I need to learn. That's the reason Mahakala gave me this lesson. Because I was too busy. Even when persecution happened on me, I was only so busy in enriching people about the spiritual enlightenment process. I never took the responsibility of empowering people. See, when I take the responsibility of empowering people to defend and protect the Hindu saints, sadhus, swamis, gurus, acharyas, dharma pravartakas, I need to face a lot of questions. I need to face a lot of conflicts of the people, answer it, handle it. I can't be afraid of handling the conflicts. I can't hide myself handling the conflicts. I have to do all that. To tell you with integrity and authenticity, I have not taken that responsibility completely. I have not put much of our energy and intelligence in that line. So naturally, I have to become more responsible. I tell you, when you are sincere, authentic to these principles are so powerful. They themselves guide you. They themselves continue to expand you. They themselves teach you not to exploit yourself by your ignorance. They themselves empower you. You need to know one more thing. The lesson I received from Mahakala, the Lord of Time. He said, you don't need to take the responsibility, or you don't need to think your responsibility is going to save everyone. Please listen. Listen with the listening space. He said very clearly, it is not that every situation you should have taken the responsibility, but you should have taken your maximum responsibility. Remaining things will be cast as miracles. You should have exhausted all the powers with which you have been endowed. You are endowed. I think I have not taken that responsibility. I should do now. All the powers with which you have been endowed, go to the extreme by taking the responsibility. Then you will see miracles will be cast. Then, even in the places where you have not directly taken the responsibility, your space will become a reality. Understand, be authentic to the spiritual principles every moment. Even what you want is not happening. Even at some moments, what you want has not happened also. Even if at some times the space you create doesn't become reality, you will understand it is empowering you. The space you create that not becoming reality will never put you in powerless space. You will never become powerless because of it. You will understand and go on expanding, enriching yourself and others. Essence of today's satsang. When you create the space in you sincerely, you will never be exploited by others or yourself. I tell you, when you don't exploit you, nobody can exploit you. When you can't, nobody can exploit you. Only when your ignorance exploits you, others have a possibility to exploit you. When you can't put yourself in delusion, illusion, and carry on with your illusion or delusion, no one can put you in illusion and delusion. The essence of today's satsang, if you don't put yourself into the illusion and delusion and exploit yourself, no one else can exploit yourself. Be authentic and integrated to the spiritual principles of integrity, authenticity, responsibility and enriching. You will never become powerless. you will always be powerful. Live health, bliss and enlightenment. Namah Shivaya. Let you all achieve, experience, live, express, radiate, share and explode in eternal bliss. Nityananda.
Nityananda Dhyanapitham, Nityananda Nagar, off Mysore Road, Bidadi, Bengaluru. Phone 08027279999. www.nityananda.org. www.youtube.com/Life Bliss Foundation.